And we're live. Hello. Welcome for anyone joining. Hi everyone, how you doing? I'm Rowan from Golden Brown. Today we're going to be talking about dialing in the perfect espresso. We're going to be using the Sunbeam Cafe Series Duo and the Sunbeam Cafe Series Grinder over here. So at Golden Brown, we've teamed up with Sunbeam, and we're going to be doing a range of lives over the next coming months, teaching you all the different things that you need to know about dialing in the perfect espresso at home. As we kind of start off here and wait for a few people to join in, feel free to ask any questions, throw anything in the comments, and I'll try to answer what I can. Also at the end, we'll answer any other questions you have. Could be to do with dialing in, could be with anything espresso related, or could just be about how your day is. Who knows? We'll dive into that. Today we're starting with one of the key and main things, dialing in. And this is one of the things that once you master and once you understand, it's easy sailing. It's all great when you're making a coffee. My coffee guy and my coffee machine. That's it. I'm here for you. Golden Brown. We're going to be talking about dialing in. And when you're looking at dialing in, there are going to be two main things that you need to look at. You're going to want to look at dose, which is the amount of coffee that you're putting in to your portafilter. And then you're also going to want to look at grind size. So that's how coarse you're grinding and how fine you're grinding. So a way that I like to think of it is like rocks and sand. If you're going too coarse, it's like rocks, and you have the water just kind of running through all those rocks and finding its way. It's the path of least resistance that the water is going to take. And that's going to give you an under-extracted coffee. So under-extracted is when it's running out too quickly, and it's going to taste, you know, when you get that kind of coffee that's a bit sour, the creme is a bit watery, and it just doesn't taste great. That's under-extracted. So when you're tasting those flavors, you know that you're probably grinding a bit too coarse. On the other hand, the finer you grind, the more water pressure is going to build up. And that's what's going to create those, extract all those delicious flavors from your coffee. That's what's going to get you the crema. That's going to get you the coffee oils that you're looking for. However, if you grind too fine, that's when water can really struggle to find its way through the coffee. And that's when you can over-extract it, and you're going to get that bitter kind of flavor that isn't that desirable kind of in your cup. So we're trying to find the middle ground. And that's what we'll be going through today. I'm going to chat through all that with you, and then we're just going to do a live demo. I'm just going to throw some new beans into the grinder. We're going to go completely blind, and we're going to dial it in step by step, and hopefully that can kind of help you understand how to do it at home by yourself as well. So we're going to be using the Cafe Series Duo today. One of the great things here with looking for the perfect extraction is actually the 58mm portafilter. So I worked in cafes for years, and this is kind of the industry standard when you're working on commercial machines. It's the bigger kind of basket size that you're looking at there. A lot of other machines, the basket size will be too small. It's trying to create a fake kind of crema and extraction. With this, you're going to get a nice even bed of coffee, and you're going to extract way better flavors. In the other baskets, you're going to over extract. It's going to taste bitter. It's not going to taste great. So when we're looking at dose size for a double shot, that's the first thing you need to worry about when dialing in. For a double shot, you're looking at about 18 to 19 grams for this one. If you're not weighing, they're designed for 18 to 19 grams. So fill it up, tamp it down. If it's fitting within that basket, just with a little bit of space at the top, then you're pretty much within the right parameters of what you're looking for there. For the single shot basket that also comes with it, you're probably looking at around 7 to 9 grams of coffee. But again, I like to fill it up, and there's normally like a little mound over the top, and that's about the perfect amount of coffee that you need in there. Another cool thing here is one of my favorite things with like home appliances is just when they think through the little things. So there's a little dosing guide that you put on the top. So when you're grinding, it all just goes straight in the basket and it's not falling out the side. I've always made such a mess in my kitchen. I've got a small kitchen and there's always coffee going everywhere. So that little thing is really helpful to make sure the right amount is inside there. And the next thing will be just about how fine you grind it. So on this machine here, on the grinder, you've got fine all the way on one side and coarse all the way on the other. So let's dive into it. Does anyone have any questions before we start? Anything that they want me to kind of point out as we talk about dialing in coffee? Feel free to ask and we'll go in. Otherwise, let's just start fresh. On a half decent coffee machine, this one right here is in the just below 1,000. We're talking about like $970. Grinder sold separately. And this machine has a dual Thermoblock, so it heats both the espresso and steams separately. So you're going to get a much even extraction. You can do both at the same time. So these are kind of the machines that you're looking at where you're getting that like cafe quality coffee at home. And that's kind of the price range that you're looking in there. There's also the Barista Max and Barista Plus in this series that you can look at as well that have the inbuilt grinder all-in-one systems there. But let's dig into it. Let's just start. I've just put in a bag of golden brown coffee in the grinder. We haven't dialed this in. This is just going in straight. So let's have a look here. So let's put on our dosing guide. We've got our dosing guide in there, and we're at about now on the grind size, we're at about 17. So we're starting at 17. Let's see how we go with that. We'll put it under. Great thing with this grinder, this little button here just automatically grinds into the basket as you go. So you just push back, and away it goes. So again, if you come in close and look into the basket, you can kind of see the coffee filling up in there. And you just want it to be a little mound on top. A great thing with this guard is you can kind of just give it a jiggle and there you go. It kind of helps you evenly distribute the coffee there. So you're going to get an even extraction, which is another great little tip. So tamping, we just want to tamp flat and level. And you want to press down firmly till you feel resistance, till it can't go down anymore. And then let's put it in and let's see and analyze what's happening. So one of the great things that this machine has here is a pressure gauge. So if you're under that optimum range, the green range, you know you're under extracting, you know that you're too coarse. And if it goes into the red, you know that you're over extracting and it's too fine. So we just want to get in that nice green zone and we're good to go. So let's start the extraction and see how we go. So if it's coming out too quick and waving around, we know, see already, that's too quick. You can see by the way that it's wobbling, it's coming out way too quickly there, it's pale. So this is under extracted and that's too quickly. So let's stop that. That probably came out in around 10 seconds and that's well over a double shot. So we know that that is going to be way too coarse, under extracted. I don't want to do this, but I'll taste it just for you, just so we can talk about it. It's all right. It's not too bad. It's a little sour. It's really watery. No good. So let's talk about adjustments. So I want to really show you guys both sides. So I would assume that if we're on 17 and that was way too quick, I'd probably want to move finer and I'd probably want to go to, say, 14 from 17 because it was way too quick. But let's go a few steps finer even, just to show you what an over-extracted coffee might be like. So let's knock out our basket here. So now we're going to try to purposely go a little bit over-extracted. And sometimes as well, I like to purge out a little bit of coffee just to make sure the grind size has changed in case a little bit was built up inside there. So now we'll grind into the basket here. And again, you kind of want to go until you just have like a little mound on the top. You can see there, it's just above the basket. You can put this in, give it a little shake, make sure it's nice and flat. And we'll tamp down evenly. And let's see how we go here. Is this going to be over extracted? Is it going to be under? Could be spot on. We might have just hit the perfect area. Let's see. So let's analyze it here. So it's coming out, it's a little fine, and you can see that because it's dripping, the water is struggling to get through. So there's probably a little bit too much pressure. This isn't bad, this is gonna taste good, but it's probably just a little too fine. And the coffee's coming out maybe just a touch too slow. But this is actually pretty close and you'd be pretty happy with this. This is gonna taste great. So let's turn that off there. So yeah, what we were looking at there is it was just a little too drippy at the start. It was just coming out a little too slow, but this is a pretty good coffee and I'd say this is only just a touch over extracted. So let's have a taste, see how we're doing. I can't believe I'm drinking too much coffee in 6 o'clock at night. This is gonna be terrible for later. Oh yeah, yum. No, that tastes really good. It's a little, we could bring back a little bit more sweetness. Once you start going a little coarser, you're gonna bring back a bit more sweetness into the cup and you're gonna remove a little bit of that bitterness that you taste in your espresso. But this is really good. So one more time as we go in here. And it's those flavor profiles that you can look out for really as you make your coffee. If you wanna go a bit sweeter, make the grind a bit coarse. If you wanna bring a bit more body, a little bit more texture in, then you wanna go finer. So we were on 12 there. Let's go down to 13 because it was pretty darn close. And let's grind into that basket. Again, just a nice little mound on the top there. And then you just want to give it a little shake to keep it even. Tamp down even. Now you really want to make sure that you have an even flat tamp because this is going to allow the water to run through evenly. If it's different balance, the water is going to go through different sides of the coffee. You're going to get an under-extracted coffee on one side and over-extracted on the other. So here we go. Hopefully this is pretty close to the perfect shot of espresso. From just 3 moves. And there you go. You've got a beautiful, consistent stream. That's what you're after right there. Coming out on both sides. And you get that nice little curve. See that little like kind of tail? That how it kind of curves in on the side? That means you're getting all the soluble material and all those nice coffee bits inside the extraction and espresso. And you can come up to here. You can also see we're in the optimum range. So you know, bingo, you've hit it. That's where you want to be. We'll stop the coffee. And you've got a beautiful double shot of espresso right there. And that's how you dial in the perfect shot of espresso. So I think these features like the dosing cup, the pressure gauge, the grind adjustment settings, all easy ways that are going to make it, all ways that are going to make it way easier for you to dial in the coffee as you're doing it. So, we can ask any questions now if anyone has any questions about dialing in or any other questions about coffee as you're doing it. Often you can find things like, it's going to change from coffee to coffee when you're grinding. Often lighter roast coffees are maybe going to be a little harder to grind. They're going to be a higher density. Whereas darker roast coffees, they become more porous in the roasting process. So they're actually easier to kind of smash up when you're grinding them. So often that can be a coarser grind setting when you're using a darker roast. I would say a grinder like this, a conical burr grinder, is super important for dialing in the right shot of coffee because it's going to create a consistent grind size. When you're extracting. If you don't have a consistent grind size, then you're going to have some problems with the extraction. Okay, we've got some questions coming in here. We've got, how long before beans are too old? Well, the bags that we have these days with the air seals kind of hold in a lot of that freshness and really help. Coffee beans, however, are best drunk 10 days after roasting, or 10 to 15, because they start to degas and they lose that gas. Before that, they might be a bit gassy because there's lots of CO2 that builds up in the process. And CO2 is actually what makes crema on the coffee. It's CO2 being pushed out with high pressure through the extraction process. But I would say that coffee can be best drunk maybe in that month or so, and then it can last anywhere up to 2 to 3 months kind of afterwards and still tasting pretty good there. What do I look for in a coffee machine when buying one for home? There's a few things that you can look for in a coffee machine. It depends on what you're specifically after. So I think one great thing about this kind of machine here is it's got dual heating elements for both the espresso extraction and for the steaming. So that's a really important part because it's going to be dedicated for your extraction and dedicated for steaming, making sure that you get a better consistency. And not only that, but you can actually, it's a lot quicker. You can do it at the same time. So you can be steaming your milk while your coffee's extracting on the side there. So that's one thing that I look for. The grinder, you want a conical burr grinder. You want something that's got the blades. You want to be smashing up that coffee correctly, especially espresso. You have to grind really fine for espresso. So you've got to make sure that grinder is top notch. Not a question, but I'm loving my golden brown beans. Oh, that's amazing. That makes me so happy. Golden brown beans are dialed in, great for home machines like this. That's what I'm drinking right now. I love it. Great with milk, classic chocolatey espresso, tastes amazing. When do I use the dual floor basket? Okay, so that's a really good question that we have there. So the dual wall basket that comes with your machine, that's a really great tool that's been created for if you're buying, say, pre-ground coffee from the supermarket. Because they use that coffee for a lot of uses like stovetop and that, it can be ground a bit coarser. So what the dual wall basket does is it adds another layer of pressure that's going to create a crema for you. It's going to allow the water to be in contact with the beans for longer, which is going to pull more flavor out for you. So if you don't have your own grinder at home, that's when you'd be using the dual wall. But if you have a grinder at home, an espresso grinder, always use the single wall basket to get the best results. I have the same machine. And grinder combo. They're the best. Yeah, this is when you're looking at consumer grade machines. This is kind of when you're getting into that like nice upper echelon of things. When it's kind of that cafe quality. The steam one, the pressure that can kind of come out on this thing is phenomenal. Having that amount of pressure there is going to really give you that silky milk. It's going to allow you to aerate it enough. The latte art you can pull out on these things, and that silky texture of milk is unbelievable. So this is definitely one of the better machines if you're going for that higher cafe quality level there. How long should a good pour be? So a good pour, for me, the time would be the last thing on the list of what you need to look at. You'd have dose, you'd have the grind size, and then you want to look at how much you're getting out. I would just aim to have it in a window of 25 to 32 seconds. There's a lot of people who are like, it has to be 27 seconds on the dot. You turn it off at 27 seconds. No, just watch your coffee. You want to get that double shot, and it can be in between that 25 to 32 seconds. And the most important part here is just taste it. You know, so many people in coffee, I think, work to these hard and fast rules of I have to be in this parameter and in this line. But taste the coffee. Like I said before, if it's tasting too bitter, maybe you need to lower that dose, or maybe you need to grind a little coarser. If it's too sour, hey, maybe you need to tighten it up a little bit and go a little bit finer. So yeah, I think that's the kind of things to look out for, but a great timeline, 25 to 32 seconds. I love the Sunbeam collection. It's great. I love what Sunbeam have kind of been doing for coffee at home. They've been bringing a lot of accessibility, a lot of ease, but also just great features. Like some of the things I'm like, how have people not thought of this before? So a lot of the time you have to have a cumbersome like tamp mat that you put your portafilter on in your house. But Sunbeam just put a mini tamp mat on the edge of the portafilter. Why is not everyone doing that? It just puts, you don't have to have a tamp mat. It just goes on the side. So I love all those little kind of things there, and the quality of espresso that you can make at home now with, these home machines is incredible. What else have we got here? Is this machine suitable? Is this machine suitable for an espresso beginner? Yeah, this would actually be one of my favorite ones to recommend for an espresso beginner. I would say the things that are amazing here are these two gauges. You've got your optimum range here that's going to tell you when you're extracting at the right amount. So it's really simple. If you're not in the optimum range, if it's under, grind finer. If it's over, grind coarser. It's that simple. And this is one of the most genius parts. they have a milk temperature gauge. So when you're steaming your milk, it'll tell you when it's at the right temperature on this gauge here. So a lot of baristas are doing it by hand and doing all that. This just takes out the guesswork. It's right there for you. It tells you everything. It's super easy. I also love it because the Thermoblock on this heats up super quickly. So in the morning, you're not waiting for water boilers to heat up. It's pretty much good to go just after you put it on. It's really quick. The other ones that they have in there are the Sunbeam. They have the Max and the Plus, which also have great features. The Plus has a timer in it, so you can tell how long your coffee's been running for, and you can also tell how long you've been grinding for. So if you're just grinding and go, I ground for 23 seconds, that's when I got the perfect shot. I'm going to continue grinding at 23 seconds. Where can I purchase this machine? You can buy this machine through Sunbeam, or you can buy it at all electrical kind of sellers, Harvey Norman's, all those kind of things. They're all stocking it, so pretty much anywhere really. You can find it. They've got this one. They've got their whole range there. They've got their range of grinders as well. So super easy to find. Just do a little search in Google, and it will pop up everywhere. Do we have any other questions coming through about this or about anything else coffee related? The other things that we're going to be looking at as we move on to the next ones, we're going to be looking at how to steam milk. We're going to be looking at how to tamp and the importance of what we call puck prep and how we do all of that. Where can I get the coffee you use? The coffee is Golden Brown Coffee, so that's ours. So you can check us out on Instagram at goldenbrown.coffee or our website, Golden Brown Coffee, if you want to see it. Works great with the whole range of Sunbeam range there. Delicious. Really enjoying all of that there. But yeah, so we'll be coming back with a few more of these lives. We'd love to know what you think. We'd love to know what you want to learn. Basically, we just want to help you make the best coffee possible at home. So whatever we can do to kind of make that work, that sounds great. Other than that, I think that's us probably signing off for this week, unless we have anything else. But this has been a lot of fun. It's coffee is that kind of endless journey of trying to find perfection and doing it. It's so much fun that we can do it in our own homes now with these home espresso machines. I really enjoy it, and I hope you do as well, and I hope you find the same kind of joy that we do. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Please let us know. Send us a DM if you have any other questions or there's anything that you want us to cover off. We'd love to know. We've got one more question. What does dual thermoblock mean? So the dual thermoblock means that there's a heating element here for the espresso extraction and another singular heating element for the steaming over here. So what that means is that basically you can do both at once as you do it, but it also means you have a dedicated heat source so that you're going to get the best results, the best extraction, and the best steam, which makes it great. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed it. We'll see you next time at our next live, where we'll probably cover off either tamping or milk steaming, but we'll let you know and we'll let you chuck it in your calendar. All right, see you, everyone. Thank you so much.